5 secret fears of avoidantly attached people. They'll never admit it. Most avoidantly attached people come across as calm, cool, and independent. They don't chase, they don't cling, and they often act like they don't need anyone. But beneath that emotionally distant surface lies a world of unspoken fears. Deep, powerful anxieties they may not even admit to themselves. These aren't loud fears. They're quiet, buried, and defended by emotional walls that make closeness feel dangerous. But understanding these hidden fears is key to making sense of their behavior, especially if you've ever loved someone who pushes you away right when things seem to be going well. In this video, we'll explore 5 secret fears avoidantly attached people carry, often without ever admitting them out loud. And by the end, you'll see why their distance isn't about you. It's about what they're terrified of facing within themselves. The first hidden fear is being truly seen for who they are beneath the surface. Avoidantly attached individuals often learned early on that vulnerability wasn't safe, that showing emotions led to rejection, criticism, or shame. So, they built walls, not to manipulate, but to survive. Over time, they became masters at showing only parts of themselves, usually the parts that seem strong, capable, or self-contained. But deep inside, there's a fear that if someone really saw all of them, their insecurities, their longing, their sensitivity, they'd be judged or rejected. That fear is so powerful that they preemptively distance themselves before anyone gets close enough to discover what's behind the mask. To them, intimacy doesn't mean connection. It means exposure. And exposure feels like a threat. So they retreat. They minimize. They downplay. They disappear for a while. Not because they don't care, but because they're scared of being emotionally naked and emotionally known. The second fear is needing someone. This might sound strange. After all, humans are wired for connection. But for someone with avoidant attachment, needing others feels like giving up control. It's like signing a contract that says, "Now you have the power to hurt me." Many avoidants grew up in environments where dependence was met with disappointment. They learned to rely only on themselves, because relying on others led to pain or inconsistency. So as adults, the idea of needing a partner, a friend, or anyone feels like weakness. But here's the twist. They do need connection. They long for it. They crave emotional closeness, just like everyone else. But the very moment they feel themselves getting attached, they panic. Needing someone feels like handing over emotional leverage, and their deepest fear is that once someone knows they're needed, that person might pull away, or worse, use it against them. So instead, they deny their needs, pretend they're fine alone, and push away the very intimacy they desire. This third fear is deeply ironic. Fear of rejection, even when they cause it. Avoidantly attached people are terrified of rejection, yet they often behave in ways that lead directly to it. The distance they create, the cold responses, the mixed signals, all of it tends to wear down their partners, and eventually someone walks away. On the surface, they may act like they don't care, but inside, it hurts deeply. Because rejection confirms their core belief that people leave when things get too real. But here's the nuance. They fear being rejected after being vulnerable. That's the nightmare. So to avoid this pain, they reject first, emotionally, sometimes physically. It's their way of staying in control. But even as they walk away, even as they pretend it doesn't matter, they feel the sting. They just don't show it. And because they never say it out loud, the world assumes they're fine. But they're not. Rejection terrifies them. Not because they're heartless, but because they secretly believe they're unlovable if seen in full. Next is the fear of emotional dependency. The fear that once they let someone in, they'll lose their sense of identity. Avoidants often see themselves as fiercely independent. Their autonomy isn't just a lifestyle, it's a safety mechanism. They pride themselves on not needing validation, not needing comfort, not needing anyone to take care of their emotions. But emotional closeness threatens that illusion. Falling in love, trusting someone, leaning on them, it all risks becoming emotionally dependent. And for them, dependency equals vulnerability. They worry that if they get too attached, they'll become fragile, weak, or even addicted to the highs and lows of intimacy. So they do what they've always done, pull away before the bond deepens too much. And ironically, this can make them seem cold or uncaring, when in reality, they're overwhelmed by the possibility of losing themselves in someone else. The very love they want starts to feel like an emotional cage. The final secret fear, the one they rarely talk about even in therapy, is the fear that they can't truly love. They see others connecting, bonding, building deep emotional intimacy, and part of them wonders, why can't I do that? Why does it feel so hard? Why does closeness trigger my defenses? They may start to believe that something is broken inside them, that they're incapable of giving or receiving real love. And that belief, even if unspoken, becomes a silent source of shame. They try. They might even fall in love. But when love starts to feel emotionally risky, their old defense system kicks in, and they sabotage the very relationship that could have healed them. This creates a vicious cycle: love, fear, withdrawal, and regret. And through it all, they carry the quiet fear that they're destined to be alone, not because no one loves them, but because they don't know how to fully let love in. Avoidantly attached people aren't cold-hearted. They're not emotionally dead. They're survivors of emotional environments that taught them connection was risky. And beneath their distance are real, raw fears they rarely share. But here's the truth. Awareness is the first step to change. If you're someone with an avoidant style, know this. Your fears are valid, but they don't have to rule your life. And if you love someone who's avoidantly attached, don't take their distance personally. It's not a reflection of your worth. It's a reflection of their fear. The more we understand these hidden fears, the more compassion we bring to relationships that seem confusing or one-sided. And sometimes, the most healing thing we can do is simply see the fear behind the wall. If this video opened your eyes to the hidden fears behind avoidant behavior, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more insights on attachment, relationships, and emotional healing. And if you've ever dealt with an avoidantly attached partner, or you recognize some of these fears in yourself, drop a comment below. You're not alone, and your story might help someone else feel seen.